Okay, so he finally opened up, told her what he's been holding in for weeks. But then his voice cracked. She cried, she panicked, she made it about her. And just like that, he shut down. Let's talk about why some men stop opening up and what both men and women need to understand about emotional safety. Don't go nowhere. Let's get into it. What's going on, good people? Welcome back to Man Talk Mondays. I'm Derek, the thought engineer, here with my man, comedian John Yogi.
Woo, 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 woo. What's going on, sir?
Man, ready to get into another hot one, man. So tonight we're talking about the silent killer of emotional intimacy. When men finally express themselves and feel emotionally hijacked. That emotional hijack set in. Now, not every woman does this. We want to make that clear. Not every woman does this, but a lot of women have been there.
Most of them do it, though.
Say a whole lot of people do it, though. But a lot of women don't realize they're doing it. They don't realize they're doing it. So we don't want to make this about blaming women or bashing men. It's about understanding how emotional expression gets misaligned and how we fix it. Tonight, we're talking about when I open up, you break down. Why men stop sharing their emotions. Why men stop sharing their emotions.
Emotions make you cry sometimes.
Baby, make you falling. I get a chord, boy. I used to hit love that A-style, boy.
That A-style?
Yeah, that A-style, man. But no, I came across several videos recently saying this. I don't know if it was the algorithm, what the whole deal was.
I heard us talking about it. You know, we had talked about it.
But one in particular, this guy, his name Jason Wilson. That's the guy who worked with the boys. You see him, he worked with the boys. He got the gray beard. He worked with the boys like he's doing like karate and stuff, but he actually teaching them how to be men and stuff like that. And he was talking about how he had a friend that expressed that he was trying to talk to his wife and have an emotional moment. But when he did, the tears started to kick in for her. And then he had to pull up. And now he feels like he lost that space. And he was like,
yeah, because he had a chance. You get one chance to go in there.
You get one chance.
You get one chance, because I was talking to my wife. And my wife always asks me to this day, honey, what's going on? What you thinking about? And she look at me real seriously. She say, because you can talk to me. And one day I was like, okay, I'm gonna talk.
You're gonna go in, huh? Go for it.
And I was like, well, I'm thinking about this, and this, and then when this, and about halfway through, she was
lip quivering.
And she started crying.
Oh.
And I was like.
So she starts crying. What did you feel in that moment? How did you feel once you saw the tears? How did you feel about it?
She wasn't ready. She wasn't ready. She wasn't emotionally ready for what I was, the weight of what you was gonna lay down on. See, because one thing about men, and I hope I'm not getting off topic, but one thing about men is we are a lot stronger than they think we are. We are made and built to carry stuff.
Yeah.
And so we'll carry stuff for a while and we're not without saying anything. And then all of a sudden they say, well, hey, go ahead, you can share it. I'll carry it with you. And then when you define the dump, man, it's like, oh my God. And she started crying, and it was. I haven't went that way. I haven't went back that way since.
Okay, so you haven't went back.
No.
Why not?
Because I don't think she's built for that.
You don't think she's built for it?
No.
I remember hearing recently, Shaq said he don't express himself to his woman. He said he don't tell her about, what's going on with him and stuff like that. He said because she already has her emotional stuff, and if he dumped that on her, that's too much for her. So he just keep it to himself.
Yeah, I mean, he right. He tries, and this is the thing. There's this misconception that women can do and deal with what men can, and for the most part, that's true. But women are emotional, so it doesn't take much for them to start operating in their emotion. So if I tell you all, and you're like, "Oh my God," because you're thinking, "Oh my God, he been dealing with all this. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God." That's not really helping. Like, stop. Let me get to the end of this.
Get to the end of it. Cheryl says, why is it that the women or the woman can't feel compassion when she hears it? She says the tears could be her feeling his pain, don't you think? But okay, do you think it's about her feeling his pain?
I think she was trying to hijack my moment.
You felt hijacked?
No.
because that's what guys are saying. They saying whenever her emotions step in, now he feels the need to protect.
Yes, because if she starts crying, I'm not, whatever I'm doing that's making you cry, I gotta stop.
I gotta pull up.
Yes, because you
I gotta pull up.
You crying. That's not what. And I know this sounds crazy, but as I'm thinking about this, the last thing I want you to do, if I'm telling you what I'm going through, is to start crying. Because I'm like, oh, this not, because I don't need you. I don't need your emotions at that point. I need your ears. And I need you. Oh, wow. I need you to help me try to, not help me try to figure out. I need you to hear me.
Okay.
I just want to be heard. I just want to be heard.
Okay. We hear women say that a lot. I don't want no solution.
Don't tell me how to get out of it.
I just want you to listen to me.
Yes.
Right. So there are times when guys need that too. We need to just be heard.
Yeah.
And so that emotional space is, I know you wanna go there. You wanna cry. But hold on.
You want me in there?
Well, wait. There's more. So what's the cost of shutting down, though? Shutting down emotionally, because women say they want us to be expressive, emotional, and all of this.
And I think we should, to a certain extent. I don't think we need to share everything. I do think there are some things we need to share. I think there are levels to it.
Okay.
Now, and so, but the man has to navigate what the level. You got to understand your partner and what she's able to deal with.
Okay.
My wife, after who chooses to be nameless.
Okay.
Don't forget that. But
who shall not be named. Yeah, right.
Yes.
Right.
It was funny. Somebody, me and Cheryl won't lie celebrate.
Yeah, their name again.
She always tell me, you always calling my name. You better stop calling my name. So, but no, I know my wife really wants to help, even in ways she can't.
Okay.
So now it's up to me to try to say, okay, John, why don't you tell her about stuff that she can actually help with? Because by you telling her what's going on at the job and how you just dead in, how your retirement ain't what you all that stuff she can't do anything about but worry about it. So I need to pull it back and tell her stuff that she can actually help with.
So you kind of work with a filter. Cheryl says, so we can't have any emotions. I don't know if it's that you can't have emotions. I think it's more of the timing. Would it be more of a timing issue? Like once you got it out, y'all came together
and we both
y'all both had a good cry.
Okay, there we
go.
But
if you in the middle and the tears come out,
I ain't even got to the best part.
It's just the appetite.
We got the 2 week notice yet.
He said the 2 week notice. Oh
boy.
Dr. Selena said it's called empathy. I am so sorry you had never received that before. So you mistook that beautiful moment as a hijacking. Wow, what an ego.
Hijack my moment. There it is. And honey, I was well, what are you doing? I was finna hit and yonder brakes on you. You took my moment.
So Dr. Lita says, okay, so it's calling, you're not used to this, so you're not prepared. So is it not the man being not prepared? Is it more on us? Well, or is it more on them?
Well, we don't want to see them crying. No matter what we tell you, the last thing we want, because we equate her crying with hurting.
Right.
And we don't want to make her hurt. Even if she's showing empathy or sympathizing, yeah, but I don't want you, don't cry.
Okay.
Because it's gonna make me pull up because it would appear that I'm hurting you.
Yeah. Yeah. And we don't ever want to be in that place. So it is, what's the word I'm looking for? It's just it's part of us, how we wired.
But you gotta understand though, when I say it wasn't just she looked like that she had been through it. When I looked over there at her, I was like, whoa. Because we don't have a good gauge of what we can carry and how much we're, okay. And then when we unloaded this into somebody else, it makes it like, whoa, you was holding all that?
Yeah.
And when I was telling her, I just remember the look on her face, like, she cussed real loud with her face.
Oh, with her face, okay.
With her face. She cussed real loud with her face, and then she like she was trying to figure out, wow, I can't do anything. So she started. So then the tears came.
Okay, so you think her desire to help maybe stepped out front instead of just listening at the time?
Well, because I'm sure she wants the same thing for me that I do for her.
Okay,
and that's to make things better.
Okay. Dr. Lynn said that's why people need to be taught emotional literacy. All tears/emotions are not negative. It doesn't symbolize weakness. Emotional intelligence is a lost skill in most men and many women, right? It's a lost skill. I don't know if it's ever really taught.
No, it's not.
I don't think it's ever really taught. For men, this is a new phenomenon. It's this new thing of sharing emotionally with your spouse, with your girlfriend or whatever. It's a new thing because we wrote the strong silent type. You just push it down and you push on.
If we be honest,
we wrote that for a long time.
We would have never got girlfriends or wives if we had been that guy.
And what about that? What about that whole threat of being looked at as weak
or a punk?
What they gonna say? Sassy. You a little sassy now. You know what I'm saying?
Zesty.
Because here you are, you having a real moment, and it's a moment where you bearing all of your scars. You know what I'm saying? You bear all of your wounds, really. You bearing all your wounds that you typically cover up and keep covered all the time. And so now there's an expectation when you bear it. And I don't know if you think we do a good job communicating the expectation. Like before we go in, we set the stage.
No, we don't. It's just I'm finna talk to you today. Okay. Yeah. Then it's like
what they call a verbal vomit, basically. Yeah, you just throw it all out there. Yeah. You throw it all out there. Is silence a form of emotional self-defense?
Yes.
I think we kind of mastered it.
Oh man. What to our detriment though.
What does silence mean for a man? What does silence mean?
Just keeping everything to yourself, not really letting anything out of there. Just not saying much when you bother. But the problem with that is we do that with everything. And you can't do it with everything. You got to be talking. You have to talk. Everybody has to talk to somebody.
Everybody got to talk to somebody. Okay.
And so if you get away from, and that's how the enemy can come in and have you talking to the wrong person.
Mm-hmm.
Because, we talked about this before. It's so much easier talking to someone that don't have any skins in the game with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they seem like they have an ear to hear. Oh, tell me about it. What's going on?
Yeah, because it's got to be sort of different talking to somebody, because if there's breakdowns in, the home, or like the home front is threatened by some things that you've been carrying, if it means that things represent some instability with the house, and you talk about somebody you sharing the house with.
Yes.
So me unloading could give you a projection as if everything falling apart, but it's like, it's not falling apart. I just need to
they ain't falling
unload
apart.
a little bit.
The 4 legs is down to 2.5. That third leg is shaky. Because most of the time, but think about it, because most of the time we're not going to say anything if it's staying on 4 legs. Most of the time we don't start saying anything almost until it's too late, till that thing is falling apart.
So should we share early?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we should. I think we should be in the habit of sharing early and often. There should be no surprises.
Okay. So if there's trouble on the home front that a man is shouldering,
she needs to know about it.
She needs to know about it
because, and one of the reasons she needs to know about it is because we want to make sure she's not a part of the problem.
Want to make sure she's not a part of the problem. How so? Break that down for me.
So if things are getting a little tighter, and I need her to pull back some of the spending.
Okay. All right.
And I go and I say, hey, listen, girl, it's getting tight out there.
All right.
Money is getting tight, man. And I'm trying to find ways to pull some things back. I just don't know. So now I'm expecting you to say, oof, I just bought that coat and it's summertime.
All right.
I'm expecting you in your mind to try to figure out ways that you can help.
Okay.
Without saying, well, maybe I need to pull it back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So in that moment, what is the worst thing you could get?
Well, I don't know what you're gonna do. Child, I gotta have my spending money.
Oh man.
And that's why. But again, it'll let you know where you are. It lets you know whether or not you're on that island by yourself or not. Well, this is something I got to figure out. But most of the time, we're not gonna get that from women.
So in that moment, the empathy is out the window.
Yeah.
That's interesting, because the expectation is for women to listen based on what's helpful for us, but it seems like we believe that she's going to listen based on what's going to impact her and how things are going to, instead of
it just depends on who is coming
the focus.
For whatever reason, women don't actually receive it well coming from us. It's got to come from somebody in the pulpit, or it's got some motivational speaker guy. They normally get it from them. We could be telling them the same thing, and they'll be like, I heard something today. And I'll be like, I said that. I know I said that, bro. I know I said that. But and sometimes being together, hearing the same voice, sometimes you need to hear from somewhere else. Okay.
Yeah, you get too common.
Yes.
Get too common.
But somebody's in the comments today.
So any guys, listen, tell us, what's one thing that you one time that you feared opening up emotionally to your woman? Cheryl says silence can be recalibration. If I speak too soon, it could be misinterpreted or misunderstood. So to gain your bearing, press the reset button. Okay. So you say you need to reset.
Who?
Is it on the guy to reset though? Is it?
It's on us to reset.
It's on us to reset.
It's on us to reset.
Okay. All right. So Stacey's saying maybe it's a thing of let me get this out so I can get myself back to where I'm, because
let me cry.
the emotions have
Let me holler
have
out.
affected my hearing. So I need to get back to where I can hear. I need to clear some stuff out.
Let me holler out. And then, I got it off me. Okay, so what were you saying now again about the 2 weeks? What happened now?
How much does it take for a man to step into that moment to say, babe, sit down, we need to talk. I need to talk to you. What does it take for that man to get there?
Oh man, that is a lot, dude. It has to be a lot going on for me to say, honey, we need to talk. We need to talk. It has to be a lot going on. It has to be so much going on. I can't hide it no more. I can't cover it up. I can't keep it mentally no more. It's spewing out at the seams. If I don't say something, you're gonna find out tomorrow or something like that.
Oh, so the ability to cover is
gone.
It's getting a little shaky. So before you find out about other means, let's sit down and have a conversation.
Let's talk about it.
Is that too late?
Yeah, it's too late, but better late than never though.
but why do we? Because we want to focus on the men. Why do we push and scrap and scrape and do all this stuff, and we do all this maneuvering and stuff trying to hold together? Is it that we don't trust them to maybe have a solution? Or
they may have a solution, and we may not want them to give it to us. We may want to figure it out ourselves, and that may be the detriment of us, though.
Okay, so there's a lack of trust.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. What about, does it make us less of a man to allow her to step in like that, to be that?
Well, that comes with relational maturity. We talked about that before.
Yeah.
I think the only way you get to those type of mature places in your relationship is you have to have gone through some things though first. I think that's not a place you arrive at. You have to, okay, we went through this, I think relationship maturity is what helps you get to those next levels.
Doc Selena says that's not fair to your spouse when we could have helped before it got to that point. What's the point of having a helpmate? Okay. So why do we wait to the 11th hour? As a man, why do we wait to the 11th hour to share something that's going on?
Well, we want to make sure we've exhausted every avenue before we actually say anything. So when we do say something to you and you say, well, have you did this? Yeah. Have you tried that?
Okay.
Yeah. Have you did that? Yeah, I did all that. Because they're gonna ask.
Yeah. They're gonna ask what you been doing?
All that. It ain't gonna be pretty.
It ain't gonna be pretty.
No, it is not. It is not.
Okay. Nah, I get that.
There's nobody gonna interrogate you more than that woman that you coming to telling that. Telling about whatever it is. Nobody's gonna ask more questions. Nobody's gonna ask more questions.
Wow. So knowing that we or feeling like we gonna get that from our woman when we sit down and have this talk, this conversation, why doesn't that affect how we handle business on the front end? If man, I know I'm gonna have to sit down and
if I go in there.
So right, prevention is better than the cure, right?
You're right.
So why don't we think prevention?
Well, because most of the time it's not let me see what they say. So when you're making decisions, it's normally not one bad decision. It's normally not one decision. It's a series of decisions that kind of get you to places. It takes a little longer to see Oftentimes when you're making bad decisions.
Mm-hmm.
It takes longer to see when you're making good decisions
Yeah.
than it do when you're making bad decisions.
Right.
So when boom, you show up and oh my God, and you think back, oh, I should have did that, and I shouldn't have did that, and that seemed like it's okay. It just, I don't know, man. I have been in a place to where it seems that bad decisions were the only decision that you could make.
Oh wow.
When especially when it comes to money, a lot of times,
Mm-hmm.
man, when you thinking and you don't want a life raft to get you to the bank. You just want a life raft to get you out of the boat that you in.
And I think that's the issue. That's the issue right there. Let me get Doc Salinas. He says, BS. 2 heads are better than one.
Whoa.
That's pride and ego, especially if we easily handle it.
Whoa, she said
it's
BS.
handled.
What?
But I think what happens is the mind that's used to surviving does not think prevention. It just thinks recovery.
It's survival.
Right. It's all about survival. So we not dealing with before we get here, let me do this. We're used to dealing with, oh, this is happening. How do I survive it?
Yes. Because the most difficult conversation we can have with our wives is about money.
Yeah, that's one of the toughest ones. Because it exposes it exposes how you think. Money exposes how you think. Money exposes your values. I tell people that all the time. So however you wired to operate, money gonna expose that like nothing else. So if you bad with it, the more you get, the worse you're gonna be with it.
People will see it.
You know what I'm saying? So if nothing is done to correct that, but now if I know I don't want to have this conversation, I got to get to where I don't ever want to have this conversation. So let me do this now. Let me pull up on whatever I got to pull up on. Let me cut out whatever I need to cut out. Let me start whatever I need to start. So this is not something that pops up. This is not something that comes up. Or at least if it comes up, I know I've done my due diligence. This is not something that's on me. This is just some circumstance that has happened.
Okay.
How often do we think like that, though?
We don't think like that.
We don't think like that.
Not as much as we should. Because if you're planning something for your house, every year you should come in and say, okay, these are the goals that we have set for this year. This is what we want to accomplish. Yeah, y'all coming together.
Right.
You've been coming together, working toward those goals, and the goals should pull you toward them.
Yeah,
it shouldn't push you from it.
It should be
toward them.
Yeah,
and if it's not, then maybe conversation need to be had to where you reevaluate your goals.
Yeah. So I want to know from any ladies watching, have you ever cried or panicked when a man opened up to you? Have you ever done that? He sat you down. He said, I need to talk to you. He began to open up, and the things that he shared, it brought the tears, but it also brought a reaction where you began to panic. And if you did so, what were you feeling in that moment? So any ladies watching, let us know. Let us know, because we want insight. Because we can sit up here and come up in our own minds about what's happening, but it may not be what we actually thinking. So it's better for us to know. So if we have to sit down and have a conversation, and I want to open up emotionally, when I see this, I recognize that, oh, I know what this is now. I can recognize because you told me up front, what's actually going on.
But how often do we have conversation like that though in a marriage? Say you've been married, let's say 5 years. How often do you have to have, honey, I need to talk to you conversations? Yeah.
I don't think it happens often enough. And I think what happens is probably, I hate to say, probably one of the worst things is if things are going are fine.
So you'll never have them then.
Right.
Why would you have them?
Because it seems like that would be the time to actually have the conversations.
Mm-hmm.
But typically we wait till it's this build up. Ifia says, no, I love it. I don't say nothing, not even make facial expressions because I need him to get it all out. One twitch in my face, he might stop talking. He's like, oh, don't scare him away now. No, I get it. And that level of awareness, the further you get down the road, you get more comfortable. Like when you first in it, you on high alert, right? Yeah. You do your due diligence and everything, you handle business. But as you keep going, there's a level of comfort and complacency that sets in. And so when you get ready, now your guards are really up like they need to be. Because a lot of times there are things happening, and like I said, because it's not some overt type situation, you know, except because we pushing it down, we keep moving, and now stuff starts piling up. So as men, we got to keep stuff from piling up.
We do. We need to do a better job. We need to be more communicative. We need to be more communicative. Huh?
Huh?
Did y'all hear that? The studio. Did everybody hear that? Then nobody jump up. I didn't see nobody move. They need better. I need some eyes back.
They give you that look like, oh, yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think, but again, it starts before we get married. We need to be comfortable talking to each other about difficult things. Man, most people don't like talking about difficult stuff. We'll avoid it. We won't talk about it. But dude, I'm telling you, it's all in the communication. And that's what makes conversation really tough. Like, oh my God, if you fly off the handle and knowing how to deal with difficult conversations. You know, it's funny, we went away. I was talking to my daughter and her husband, and I would ask them, say, hey, when conflict comes, how do y'all deal with it? Because conversations have to be had.
Right.
And I want to make sure that I was setting a good example for when conflict comes, being able to deal with it in a way that's what's the word? In a way that's suitable and appealing to where now because the last thing a guy want, oh Lord, I gotta go through this with her again. Now you're gonna find any way you can to skip over it or not deal with it.
Yeah. And I think that's probably the tough part, because if there's ever a time for us to man up, that's probably the time, because we don't want to, but if it's necessary, should we go ahead and do it? Cheryl says, my husband shared something last week, and I didn't cry, but I did think about what could be done. Do I let him do it, or do I need to call Guido? You call it Guido. Okay. So I posed this question to Cheryl. Because she said just recently we had a conversation, but was this after there was a moment where you said, okay, this didn't go right the first time, so let me backtrack. Let me backtrack and read and do this. You know, here comes another opportunity, so let me handle this different this time. Was that the situation?
I just remember what the question was. Again, emotional. You know, it's
why do emotions threaten us so much as men?
Well,
is it or is it threatening? Is that a bad? It may not be a good word. Are we threatened by emotion?
I just don't want to have to deal with it all the time. Sat down somewhere.
So emotion is labor.
Yes, man, it's taxing.
Okay.
And as a matter of fact, I don't know why she's breaking this up. She asked.
Cheryl says I was not emotional at all.
She asked me a question. She said, "Hey, go. You got somebody else."
She says, "I pulled the ball in his court. I put the ball in his court." Okay.
Anything? Hold on a second. Let me check. Anything? No? Okay. This is all about them today. She asked me. She say we were talking about my job and stuff that I do at work, and she's like, "Hey," because I often ask her, "Hey, you know I do this, you know I do this." She always know I do stuff. She said, "Hey, I need some part-time stuff. So y'all got anything?" And I said, "I want to say it was something like that, right? Do y'all have anything? It wasn't like that." That's what I remember.
That's what you heard.
That's what I heard. And I said, "Nah, girl, we ain't got nothing. Go sit down somewhere."
Okay.
What's wrong with that?
He said, "Go sit down somewhere." Okay. What's wrong with that?
Go grab a couple of seats. Must be ready to fight.
Okay.
I just don't. I can't say nothing. I can't say nothing. See how she looks.
We get
That's not one. That one.
Mr. Terrence Simon. He said emotion is energy. He said it's energy. What type of energy? Sometimes energy is needed, it's necessary, but some energy we just trying to avoid.
We don't always want to deal with that energy though. Most of the time, it's negative energy though. Most of the time,
okay.
And tell me if I'm wrong. Is that because most of the time when the way they give it to us is negative energy? I want to deal with. Who wants to deal with that all the time? But it doesn't make it. It does just because we don't want to deal with it all the time does not mean we shouldn't deal with it. Because by me saying I don't want to deal with it all the time, now I'm almost running from the fact or from the conversations that need to be had because I know your energy is going to be bad. Right. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the problem. No, I think we need to.
Do we get trained into that as men? Just the stereotypes when it comes to being in a marriage and being a man in a marriage. Do we get kind of trained into that way of thinking? You know, the old ball and chain, and how women are just portrayed as complainers and naggers and stuff like that. Is that what the issue is? And so we automatically think that that's what we're gonna get all the time.
Yes. Well, because we've been, like you said, we've been accustomed to it. Because what do older men? Most of the time, older men, they're you ball and chain, you got this, you got that, the nag, we get accustomed to it because that's what we hear. We normally don't hear positive things about marriages normally.
Yeah.
She nagging, she this, she that. We don't know her, and perhaps we need to be more positive about marriage.
And we're accustomed to making space for your feelings before our own majority of the time.
Yeah.
If you having a moment, you know, we gotta pull up, we gotta be on guard, we gotta be, you know.
But we get so used to it. I'm so used to. I don't want to say my feelings not being heard. I don't want to say that because that's not it. But I'm so used to making sure that she good. I just want to make sure you good. I'll be all right. I deal with whatever it is. You just want to
I'll be all right.
I'll be all right.
What does that mean when we say that? I'll be all right. What are we really saying when we say?
I mean, I'm gonna go cry in the shower.
I'm gonna find somewhere else to let this out.
Yes.
I'm gonna find somewhere else to let this out. I don't feel this is not the space.
Yes.
I don't feel safe in this space. So let me find somewhere. But those outlets, how many of us choose unhealthy outlets as men?
I'm curious. I saw Terrence Simon on here, and I want to know that's my new son-in-law. And I want to ask him a question. Okay. How do you keep from falling into old, like you said, old traditions or think about how you deal with conversations in your marriage? You know, ball and chain,
stereotypes.
Yeah. How do you keep from falling in stereotypes with your new marriage?
Okay. This question posed Mr. Terrence Simon.
Anybody else can answer, but I really want it from him.
Okay. He said the first law states that energy cannot be created or destroyed, only transformed from one form to another. Right? So this transference of energy, so if I open up I'm transferring this energy over to my wife.
Your wife.
But my wife, when it's transferred, she's built a certain way, so she's gonna react a certain way.
Yeah.
So is it better that I just understand how she reacts, or is how she reacts the reason why I don't say nothing to begin with?
Well, see, okay, now this is where we got to be smart. Smarter about it. I think you tell her, but I think you just got to figure out a way to tell her the word she won't. You won't make her react.
So you got to get good at your delivery. You got to filter.
Absolutely, we do. And I think if we master that, then we can tell them anything.
Does the filtering accomplish what it needs for us in opening up?
Is it really about us, or is it about getting it out, talking to them about it? What's the most important thing? We want is the conversation the most important thing, or how we get the conversation out is the most important thing? Because I think that's what we got to figure out.
Because we looking at it from a standpoint that there's a lot that we're carrying, and there's a need to let this out.
So if you get it off one block at a time, or you dump it all off at one time, what's the most important thing? Because at the end of the day, you just want it off. How you get it off, how it's taken off really doesn't matter, as long as it's off when you leave.
Okay, so if you got a good support system as far as like guys, right?
That's why
guys you can talk to, guys you can be real with. Then when do we actually talk to our wives?
Oh, after you done told it to the guys like you want to tell it.
Okay, so you've gotten it out to a certain degree, and so now let me bring this to you.
Yes, because I don't think they meant for as much as they want to be. As much as I love my wife and she wants to be my everything, and she is to a certain extent, but I don't think everything is meant for her.
And that's what I'm curious about. I'm curious about that. Is that really realistic for your spouse to be everything to you? Is that really realistic?
It's not.
If Phil says, I feel like a lot of men say that I'm good, I'll be all right. Oh yeah, we do. How often is it true?
Yeah.
You know, we have to figure it out.
We normally feeling some kind of way when we say that. But if I say, I'll be all right, I'm feeling some kind of way. I'm finna go cry somewhere. I'm finna go get in the shower. I'm feeling some kind of, my feelings hurt. Something going on that I need to talk about that I can't talk to you about.
Should men have, like I said, men have guys that they can go to and open up and talk to them about things that are weighing heavy on them? And should women have women that they can go to? Does my spouse have to be that person?
No.
Because I'm wondering, because that's what recent years, that's what a lot of people are trying to make marriage out to be. This is my partner. This is my ride or die, all this type of stuff. And it's like, I share everything here first. And it's like, I don't know if that's realistic.
Well, there should be no surprise. There should be nothing that somebody can say about, because we should know everything. Now, how it's told to me is the key. But we should know everything about each other, about stuff that goes on with Cheryl and John. Now, how it's told to me, it has everything to do with Cheryl and vice versa. But there's nobody should say, just off the top of my head, the car, y'all. She's thinking about buying this, that, and what? It should be no surprises like that. Everything should be, most stuff should stay in the house.
Okay.
Me and Cheryl did this early. Me and Cheryl did this early. We kept everything in the house. Kids, everybody. And we had a real small circle that benefited us a lot, but it hurt us a lot. We had a lot of growing pains because we didn't let other people inside. We didn't let people inside that could help us.
Gotcha.
So we had a lot of growing pains that we went through. That if I could do it over, I probably would let other people in and be talking to more people, letting people know what was going on in our marriage. Because I wouldn't I wouldn't trade. We had 25 years that was really tough. We've been married 34. We had 25 that was really tough.
Wow. That's saying a lot, man. That is absolutely saying a lot. Let's talk about how to do this better. How do we do this better? So for women, here's some things that you might want to consider doing. First off, you want to let him finish. Don't interrupt with your own reaction. So, because that space is critical. Can
we walk them through one? Can you tell me something I act like the wife's for that?
Okay, let me see.
Tell me one, because I'm
good. Impromptu. Okay,
yeah.
It was improvisation. Okay, all right. Say, I need to run something by you. I need to tell you something. So today on the job, I found out that they looking at me to possibly let me go.
I don't need to say nothing, right? I'm showing it the right way, right? Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
And I feel like I done gave all these good years to this job. I'm tired. I want to just be done with it, but you know, I'm not at a place where I could just walk away.
Is that the end?
So what you feel about it? Okay, so you held it in? You okay? Is it time?
Well, because this is like, you know what's, and as we're doing this, it's kind of just crazy, because all you want is the reassurance that you're doing the right thing and that you agree with me. Even if you don't, sometimes all we need is that you to give me that assurance that you with me in this. Even if you were sleeping in my bed every day. Because oftentimes we're going to do and try new things that might seem crazy. We need somebody crazy with us. Yeah. Okay. So just
at least for the moment.
At least for the moment. And then after we can talk about, well, you know, if we do something like this, right? We got to get some money. We got to put some money aside. We got to do this. We got to make sure the bills. You know. Okay. But listen, hear me out before you, because the natural reaction is when you start telling me your BS. I'm like, have you lost your mind? You know, we got cars and house, you know, the bill we got. I like stuff.
We get to that. We'll get to that.
Just hold on, because you thought about all that too.
Oh yeah.
Just hold on. Yeah. Stay with me and reassure me that whatever you decide, we're gonna be good. Okay.
Second thing you want to do is mirror what you hear before inserting your feelings. Mirror what you hear before inserting your feelings. And maybe it's just a check. So what I hear you saying is XYZ. You know, just kind of. Yeah. Because men and women don't hear the same. We do not hear the same way. We got to be aware of that. You got to check and see if what you hear is what you hear, because we don't hear the same, right? And the third thing you want to do is ask. Do you want support? Do you want solutions, or just space? Like, what are we doing here? Let me know up front, so I make sure I give you what you need. Do you want just the space to talk? Do you want solutions?
Yes,
or do you want me to support you in? Yeah. So when he sit down and say, "Hey, I want to talk to you about,"
you say,
something.
Whoa, what you need?
Yeah,
you need me just to listen. You need me space,
right?
Okay.
Because men have to do that from time to time. We gotta.
Well, and it helps them to understand how they can help and what we need.
Yeah.
Because if you come and dump, I don't know what to do. You just dump. You're trying to grab stuff and hold it, and you don't. That's not what you need. Because they really, again, they just. I'm sure they want to help. Yeah. So we got to help them figure out how they can help us.
Absolutely. Now for the men, what can we do? How can we do this better? First thing, we can be clear about what we need when we open up. Be clear about what we need. So especially if she asks, you know, what do you need from me in this moment? Do you need the support? Do you need me to just give you the space, or you need solutions? And we got to be clear about that up front. Got to be clear about that. Cheryl says, first of all, if you're going to quit, what do you plan on doing? Let me know the plans.
Because I know I come home every day. Tell me, you know what this is for me. I know I come home every day. Tell me, you know what? I'm tired of this now. I can't take it no more.
Right. So we got to be clear. Got to be clear about, you know, what we need in that moment. Next thing you want to do is, so it's a tough one for us, fellas. Don't wait until the emotion explodes. Because a lot of us, we powder kegs around here. We one issue away from
cussing everybody out. We just cuss everybody out. I'm tired. It's been and it's been a gradual thing.
Mm-hmm.
Pile on. After a while, you can't take no more. You gotta
and pay attention to your own subtle resentment, because the more we get quiet, the resentment kind of starts to set in, and that can start turning into contempt, to where, you know, I really don't like you. You know, I really don't like you. I'm gonna keep it cool, but I really don't like you. You get to that point. So we trying not to get there. We try not to get there. Like thinking about the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse when it comes to, you know, from John Gottman, I guess what his name is. And next thing you want to do is, if she misattunes, right, meaning she doesn't really get it, just gently redirect, right? I want to be heard, not fixed. So if you're getting in there and you're not getting, you know, what you feel like you need in that moment, gently redirect. Say, you know, hold up, you know, I just need this. Sounds like you want to do this right now, but this is what I need right now. Gently. Nah, that ain't what I'm talking about. No, you don't go.
This the one right here. There you go. That ain't it. That ain't the one. That ain't it.
Right.
That ain't it.
That ain't what you want to do.
Yeah.
That ain't what you want to do. And let me add this, and this is something my wife always says, and this goes for both sides. Always assume positive intent. Right? You got to understand, well, it should be that the person that you sitting down talking, they love you.
Mm-hmm.
They love you. Y'all might not always get it right. Communication might not always be where it needs to be, but there is love there. There is love. And for anybody who that ain't what you got, I feel for you. Because it's a challenge enough.
Anyway.
In just the normal, just doing marriage. But when you got, I don't like you on either side.
When you got, I'm not sure you're looking out for my best interest. And not more so your own. One of the things I used to tell my daughter when she was growing up all the time, you know I love you and I'm not gonna do anything the thing to hurt you or harm you. You got, as long as you think that about me first, we won't have no problems. It's not to say the whole time she was in high school, she came down 3 times to eat and to go to sleep. but it's not. But we're not talking about her. I'm just saying. But she knew her daddy loved her. Her mom and daddy loved her. Yeah. And I think that's in relationships we got to know the same thing. Like you said, I mean, as long as you know that I mean the best. I want the best for you. And quiet as kept, man. That'll make the approach that much easier if I know you coming from a standpoint of, and then me, I know how you feel about me, and you know how I feel about you. Yeah. So that means you got to be building up some kind of reserve or something. Whether you hanging out, I don't care if you just going watch a movie or do something. Do something to make some deposits into that relationship,
so that when you get to a point to where you got to make a withdrawal,
You got something in there.
you got something in there because you don't want to come up insufficient.
Whoa.
You don't want to.
Not old $35.
That's how much it is.
That's how much I heard.
That's what you heard, huh? That's what the people say, huh? It's $35. Yeah, we be bouncing.
Well, what you talking about?
Bouncing emotional checks all over the place. Next thing you know, we fussing and fighting every time you turn around. So, but no, this is something that's important because if women want men to be more expressive, if you want men to open up, then there's got to be some ground rules set. There's got to, because
walk them through it. Walk them through it like we need to be walked through it.
Yeah, because it can, if not done right, it can go bad. It can go bad. Doesn't mean all is lost, but you don't want him to feel like, oh well, yeah, can't talk to her then. You know what I'm saying? You don't want that to be the overall message.
Oh, somebody let you talk to him.
Oh, yeah. Old Bernice over there, so understanding.
Boy, you said Bernice.
I don't know where that came from.
He said Bernice. Boy, that don't sound like old day. Oh boy, you said Bernice.
Man, she brought you a hot plate to the job and
got wrapped up.
I cooked last night. I thought about it. I wanted him to try it. I want you to try my
Bernie.
Yeah,
boy, that hurt me there.
Hey man, food bring your defenses down. People don't understand that.
All the way down.
Food will bring your defenses down. While you simply eating on them collard greens, boys, he plotting. Bernie's all over. You don't even understand.
I never heard Bernie's the same.
I heard somebody say the sidebar. I heard somebody say, man, hey man, how you a baby named Bernie? Like
See, you ain't going by Bernice when you're younger.
I think that's where nicknames came from.
You skip it all the way till you get old, and then you.
Yeah, I think that's where nicknames.
My name Bernice.
Yeah, I think that's where nicknames came from.
Bernice.
Little toddler, come here, Bernice.
Bernice in the kitchen trying to learn how to cook collard greens. Boy, you say.
Oh my goodness.
Woo.
But listen, this is a real issue. This is a real issue. I said it's not by mistake that this thing kept coming up. How men do struggle with this conversation. We struggle with it.
But we both got to take blame. We both got
to take blame. Both got to take blame. Men have been pegged as horrible communicators. Well, women aren't really good communicators either. Because if we both come from the same community, come from the same place, the likelihood that you don't know what you're doing,
I don't either.
Two, is very high.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So we both learning. So don't look at me like, you a man, you don't know how to talk. No. Yeah. So.
Wow.
All right, man. What you got for the people?
Can't get over Bernice. in the greens with the turkey neck filling.
Sound like she can cook, huh?
She got turkey wings on them. Anyway, but Derek talked about this earlier, and I don't want to make sure we don't jump over this. You have to have something in the bank. Most of the time, the reason why people bounce checks is because they too much on the edge. They're too much close to not having none. We have to make deposits in those communication accounts often. You want to make sure there's a surplus in that relationship because your relationship is going to need it. Believe me. And you don't want to be close to negative when you really need her or him to know how you feel about him, how you care about him. So it's important. So Bernice and Geophus, y'all make sure y'all put some make sure y'all have surplus in y'all accounts. And that's my final thought.
I said Theophus. What's you say? All right. So let me say this. Probably one of the toughest conversations you're going to have, but the most necessary, is the planning. The planning will solve a lot of stuff on the back end, but up front, it's tough because in the planning, we got to discuss where we are now. And that where we are now exposes the bad decisions. It exposes this is, I hadn't handled things well up to this point. But if you're going to talk about where you're going, you got to locate yourself first. You got to locate yourself. And this is where a lot of tough conversations really come in. But if you think about it, like we said, prevention is better than the cure. And many of us, we don't plan because we don't want to talk about where we are now. But it's necessary if we're going to move forward, if we're going to get to a place that's a desired end, right? When we get to year 20, year 30, where do we want to be? That conversation starts now. And so it means you're going to have to open up. You're going to have to open up. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be uncomfortable. But the discomfort of the moment for the sake of comfort down the road, got to ask yourself, is that a price worth paying? And that's my final thought.
I didn't never hear my Terrence Simon didn't never come back to me and say nothing to me. I asked him a question. I ain't gonna leave him alone.
Is it part 2? We're gonna get the question answered.
I don't remember what question.
What'd he say?
What did he say?
Listen, we appreciate everybody hopping on with us. Don't forget, share this out to your people that need to hear this. Share it out to them. Subscribe as well. Want to get some subscribers up. But we'll be back with more for you. You still somebody?
Bernice.
You still on
Bernice, you subscribe. Bernice, you subscribe.
If your name Bernice, subscribe. Subscribe to the show. All right. We appreciate y'all. We're going to catch y'all next time. Peace out.